Yeah, we are live. I forgot I was. I'm over here chopping up with Chef. You dig? I forgot I went live. Yeah. So the question is, where is young Marcus? So let me try to. Can I fix this title? Damn it. Yeah, we are live. I forgot I was. Oh boy. I'm over here chopping up with Chef. Yeah. So we are. I got an hour until my next class. So we are definitely going to do a post debate pending that Sonetta doesn't go live. For the most part, I try to not go live the same time Real Black Atheists on Fire or Dagger Squad or Sonetta. I try to pick my slots because we're pretty much the same folks, right? Sonetta's audience is pretty much the same that attends Dagger Squad, MBK. Or I try to also dodge MBK. So our audience is the same as MBK pretty much. Dagger Squad, even Asar Imhotep, same pretty much audience. So I try to avoid when they go live. I try to pick my slots. But Team Osiris, we clearly got different audiences. So it's okay. Even God Body Sean, it's okay if I go live. When they go live, we got different audiences. So so we're not taking away from each other. So where nobody got to go back and forth from channels. You dig? So peace, Arande Branch. Peace, Ricardo Robinson. We had a fire panel last night. We had Kansu. We had Java. We had Chief X. We had Rob Bourne. Other than Sonetta Studios, what other platform can have those electric personalities all at once? You dig? And plus with my regular panel, so I didn't even compromise my own panel. We had my regulars on as well. So just trying to bring you guys unbiased content. And so sometimes, the opinions might be shared and it might oppose other people's opinions, and it's okay, man. We can't talk this unity talk and think everybody's opinion is going to be the same. So especially when we're recapping a debate. So if you're recapping, let's say a debate let's say Pastor Bennett and Dr. Mayat on the subject of did we progress in slavery? We are going to have, just because we think Pastor Bennett won doesn't mean we have anything against Dr. Mayat, and vice versa. If they do a rematch on something else, and let's say we say Dr. Mayat wins, right? We don't have something against Pastor Bennett. We're just recapping what we believe. You dig? So we can't go that route. Polite and Jabari had a debate. You dig? Some of us think Jabari won. Some think Polite won, and it's okay. That shouldn't start a beef. We just got to articulate why we think one side won, and that's it. We don't got to pick and choose, and that doesn't mean we hate either one as far as their debating skills, because I'm sure Polite, with the right topic, if he debates somebody, he's going to wash him. I'm pretty sure Divine Prospect with the right topic is going to wash. I'm pretty sure Garfield and with the right topic is going to watch whoever they debate. So it all depends on the topic. The topic can really dictate the winner, or dictate the landslide. I believe the topic last with Jabari and Polite, I think that was a fair topic. I really thought the topic slightly favored Polite because he was the one researching this stuff in advance and making videos about it, presentations, studying, the viruses and how they affect a whole cell. And he was going into 5G. Jabari, I don't know what he's doing in his spare time, but I was under the impression that Jabari was doing, mediocre research. So I really felt like Polite went in there as the favorite because he's already on top of the subject. So if it was even a draw, Jabari wins. Just on that. Peace, Amber. Peace, Ricardo. Peace, Melvin. So again, so listen, I make videos, no problem being critiqued. Matter of fact, I'm a perfectionist. So if I make a video and y'all point out some flaws, I guarantee I do it over. I don't have an ego. I would do that video over. So, I don't get mad. Oh, well, no. If you guys can help me out and I can do it better, I'm all about quality, not quantity, not a whole bunch of videos. I'm all about quality. You know what I mean? That's your brand. So if I do a video on something, you guys feel like I left something out, or or I could omit certain things, it might be redundant. Tell me. I guarantee you, I go on YouTube Studio and edit that stuff out. No ego here. Let's see. So the question is, where is young Marcus? And I want to, so the, as you can see, the channel looked kind of funny, right? I mean, like the way it's phrased, because I'm supposed to have emojis in between it's supposed to have the eyes, is young Marcus, and then the thinking emoji. So I'm just trying to figure out how to do it from my phone, because my laptop won't let me do it. Wait, would it? Let me try. Yeah, like the Mac laptops, they're weird sometimes. So I don't think I can add an emoji from the Mac. Where is? So I downloaded Google Studio on one of my phones. So I got to see which phone is that. So yeah, so I want to, so again, I got an hour, a little less than an hour actually. So we can build on something real fast. I can put a link in there. But the topic is young Marcus, because I played his video and I edited down to him explaining the evolution of human skin, how it evolves with the climate conditions over, I guess, thousands of years. All right, so we can talk about whatever, but I really want to know, where is young Marcus? So I'm gonna share a video. Some people don't know who he is, but once I play his video, I guarantee you're gonna fall in love with the young brother as soon as you hear him talk, because like he shows so much promise, and then disappeared. And I guarantee you, he didn't want to get it caught up in all this politics. Oh, I'm beefing with him, so you got to beef with him. Oh, don't talk to him. The youth ain't trying to hear that. So I guarantee you, he was involved in something like that, because that's the corner they try to put me in. But I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna build with everybody. If the topic is right, you might even see Minister Inky on the panel. If the topic is right, like we disagree with vaccines, so we ain't gonna be talking about that, or viruses. But if the topic is right, if it's neutral, it might be sports, because he's a big sports fan. So that's how I am. Like, I don't have these personal beefs with people. And even though Nepal's mad at me, hey, she could come back. She still got a wrench, by the way. So I didn't even take her wrench. So here is young Marcus.
So now, Black people.
I'm gonna play a little bit of young Marcus, and then we can chop it up.
So if evolution doesn't exist, the question I have to ask you is, why do different skin colors correspond with different environments? Why do you find Black people in hot places and white people in cold places? Why do you find that? Why is it that way? I'll explain. Because us as humans are byproducts of context. Black people existing in hot environments for generations and generations and generations and generations, thus develop melanin. What is melanin? Melanin is a biological shield. Melanin blocks the harmful UV rays of the sun. What are UV rays? UV rays are ultraviolet radiation, and the sun releases 3 electromagnetic spectrums.
So I think he was 16 years old at this time.
UVA, UVB, and UVC. And the one that's,
I believe he's from somewhere in New York,
the most healthy is UVB, because it provides us with vitamin D, and it also provides us with melanin. Now, UVC,
he's probably out of high school at this point, because this is 2016.
when it tries to come into our earth, it's destroyed by the atmosphere. UVA penetrates deeply into the earth, but is weaker than UVB.
And he probably don't go by the name Young Marcus anymore. That's something that was given to him, and from the community.
Why did nature create this relationship? Why did nature make UVA weaker than UVB? So, more or less, though, nature has consciousness and it has intent. And as I was saying, Black people exist in hot environments, but they exist in those hot environments for certain purposes. Now, UV rays can destroy what's called folate. Folate is a natural B vitamin that is naturally produced in food.
Young dude, clearly not reading off anything, straight off the top, just a genuine brother.
Folate is a B vitamin that is naturally produced in foods. It helps cells to divide. Meaning,
by the way, he came out the same time, I believe, Divine Prospect and Young Pharaoh. I believe they all came out at the same time, if not Divine a little later. But they was kind of all around that same generation.
When you lose a piece of your skin, it will help the skin cells to multiply.
The last thing, I was actually pseudo at this time. I was a creationist. I was all into religion in 2016. So, but I was still like, this is my first time hearing it broken down like this, where I can actually understand it. So I'm like, there might be something to this stuff. You dig? So you don't just become unreligious overnight. Things just, it's like evolution. Like you evolve, and before you know it, you no longer believe in the things you did before. Like you don't know you're not going to believe in that stuff anymore. It just increments.
You can regain your skin. It will help you reproduce, meaning you can produce children. Your folate within your body can help you reproduce.
So I want to circle this right here. So you see it's on Black News 102. You can get the whole breakdown there. On my channel, I don't have the whole breakdown. I just got this part. I just got that part where he's talking about UV rays, but he touched on a whole bunch of stuff. He touched on how he had a run-in with Sarsu and Seti, and it almost came to blows. They almost took it to the streets by just mere wanting to question his presentation. So Seti was in New York for whatever reason. He also was talking about evolution, just general evolution. So it was a long interview. I only got 16 minutes of a particular segment that I wanted to share with you guys. But if you go to Sinetta Black News 102, you'll catch the whole interviews. Pretty deep. And he has more interviews there. So just type in Marcus. Just go to the search bar after you go to Sinetta's channel and type in Marcus, and you'll see that he had a lot to bring. But he got chased out. I guarantee. And he was at that time, I think he was part of the Amon-Ra squad. They had embraced him, and he was a part of them. And remember, this is the height. So he joined the Amon-Ra squad at the height of the beef with Young Pharaoh, Amon-Ra squad, and Sarsu and Seti. So he was right in the mix of the beef. And in my opinion, I don't believe he thought it would get that wild. Because he's from New York, I'm pretty sure he's dealing with like real stuff in real life. And to come to an internet beef, that was probably overwhelming. So that's it for Young Marcus. We got some panelists on here. Maybe they could go in. So I will yield. Let you guys go in. Amber, Melvin.
Yeah, peace to the panel, peace of the audience. Did they ever give out his name? I mean, you say he doesn't go by Young Marcus anymore.
Yeah, maybe he does. I doubt it, because I think that was just given to him. You know, the community give you a nickname, so that was given to him. I don't believe like that's something he picked out. And don't forget, this is 4 years old, so he was like 16 at that time. So he's probably 20 now. So I can imagine that he gave himself a name by now.
Yeah, he big Marcus now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was polite at first. I'm like, he kind of got the and he talks very similar, even down to like the pauses he takes. But
so early in his interview,
yeah.
he talked about who influenced him.
I never heard of him prior to today.
Yeah, so earlier, you won't hear from him for most people, because that's how we do. But he talked about who influenced him, and Polite was one of the influential people in his life.
Okay.
So that's why.
Somebody said he went to school and that's why he stepped away.
Nah, there's more to that. No. It was schooling and other things. But listen, you don't. That's not even normal to say. Yeah, I'm with the Amara squad, and then never talk about anything ever again. Like you don't believe that he was being reached out to, right? You don't believe that. So yeah, you can go online from school. I believe there's more to that because I had actually asked around. This is why I got a video now, like saying, "Where's young Marcus?" I had already inquired on certain people that was around him, so it was more than just going to school. And now that we know how they do in the community, I'm not believing that.
I'll have to check out some of his content. I never heard of him.
So what do you think happened to him? I'm biased.
Again, like he joined the Amara squad in the midst of that hot beef between young Pharaoh and Saracen and Seti, and I believe that he was being pushed in the corner, like kind of like how I was, oh no, you can't talk to him, that type of stuff was going on, and I know he was like, what? Nah, ain't that serious for me. So that's how I was when I was told who I couldn't talk to. So I can imagine, he's younger. I can imagine the barriers being put around him. Like, nah, you can't talk to, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I believe like a young guy with that, that type of persona, I don't believe that he would have been like comfortable being, shelved. But if we find him, we would definitely know. If we find him, we would definitely know what happened, why he stepped away, because he's very outspoken. So he's not going to like, he might minimize it, but he's not going to like shy away from explaining why he's out of the community, why he chose to leave the community.
I honestly think he left at the best time.
Right. Yeah.
Brand new to it, and you walk right into, heat of the moment, get out. So.
Yeah. Yes. So it says the old heads started coming after Marcus, which Brenda said he didn't like at all. So yeah.
I remember he was it like a debate or argument he had against Larry?
Oh yeah. Maybe I've seen it. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. Damn. So what happened there?
Larry was trying to, I guess, debate him, so to speak. And Marcus kind of stayed on his square, but because he was young and not really experienced with the street teachers, he had a bit of an issue with his speech as far as enunciating and properly explaining his points. But I think he was solid. I mean, he stuck with academic information. It's just maybe it wasn't him.
Yeah. So what was the discussion about between him and brother Larry?
I think it was history.
Okay, so his history might have been like a little skewed, young Marcus.
Possibly, yeah. But I think Larry was trying to beat him up on history and some facts. But
That's interesting.
Larry, he can go left on you in a hot second. So.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? If people want to make a name for themselves, so that's why I believe people go left and right and up and down. They want cool points. In my opinion, listen, if you've been around all this time and you ain't become SHIT yet, that's it. That's it. That's it. Move out the way. And so you got people become hating when you start to build some steam, and your name is being shout out more than people who've been around for decades. Yeah, that's going to breed that jealousy. That's that Malcolm X, I would say, syndrome.
Yeah. And I found the video. You can look at that. It's in the back chat.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, so like Melvin and Amber, I don't have that type of like even when I was like a young dude, like hey Mel, when I was in high school, I never had the latest anything. You know, I barely survived the jokes, you know. I had
Right.
Air Force Ones, I had Union Beijings, you know, Air Pastel, and at that time they was like all right. It was like it was equivalent to Old Navy. You did. I didn't have Gap. I didn't have Tommy Hilfiger, all that type of stuff. So I barely was making past the jokes, you know. But when people had that type of stuff, I was more impressed. I was never like even like certain people from high school. I'd be walking home, they had nice cars or just driving. Period. I was just always impressed. Like, wow, man, okay, you driving in high school? Wow, that's cool. I was never like, how you get a car? And that hatred you can see is exercised in this community.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I mean, you always gonna have those people that kind of it's a personality thing. You got them people that don't mind. They look at it like, oh damn, you doing your thing, and then you got those people that do mind, and they try to pick apart every little thing you got going on. If you driving, well, she ain't paid for it. That's her mama car, or like it's always something. But I just try to mind my goddamn business.
Yeah, I know personally a young dude. Well, he's young to me, but he's a grown adult with children. But his mom came across like some lawsuit money, some heavy money, and she bought him a BMW. And like he got haters like, "Yo, your mom bought you that." I'm like, but he was like, okay, like, yo, what's wrong with your mom buying you, looking you out? Like that's what mom's supposed to do. So like, that was some like weird like hatred that people was giving him. Like, so y'all mad at him because his mom bought him a BMW, and it was
that's the whole thing. If their mom was to buy them a BMW, they wouldn't turn it away. Like,
right. And
people say that until their mom try to buy them one.
Right. I don't get that. It's that's a good way to say this. Although some of us, Sarnetta, he always say he's a journalist, right? So he's going to have who he wants on his show. So with that being said, we can disagree. We could be, offended, right? But what I don't like is when people mention people pockets, their money. Listen, if it's not criminal, leave it alone. You dig? Like we should only have problem with illegal activity. If what we're doing, if somebody wants to twerk online and make some cake, I have no problem with that. You dig? That might not be for me, or I might think it's like excessive, whatever. But as far as that money, I'm never gonna say, yo, look how she make her money. Or look how if somebody is online, doing whatever, and I might disagree with it, but as long as it's not criminal or illegal, like I'm good. So like I think we worry about people pockets too much. So I don't mind people criticizing Sarnetta and his content and what he allows, but when you start talking about his pockets and it's legit dough, I'm like, all right, now you are chasing at that point.
Well, my thing is you never really know how somebody get their money. That's the whole thing. Like it could be 90% legit, 10% illegal. Like you never really know. So I just try to just steer from them conversations altogether. Only thing I know is what I got going on. Right. And I'm not really too worried about the next person or what they got going on. Whether it's illegal or not, they got to deal with the consequences however they come. So that ain't got nothing to do with me. I just try to leave that alone, period.
So, when you go on YouTube or even Google, I think Instagram, and probably all of them, Twitter, I could imagine that they all have the trending button. So you click the button, you see what's trending. So like that's there for a reason. So I understand that some topics are just trending and they're popular. You even said it yourself on Twitter. I was trying to get a vaccine, discussion, but it wasn't trending at the time, so it's over. So I had no problem with people talking about a trending topic. Like for example, you guys know way back in November, that I was highly interested in the anti-vaccination discussion. So guess what? We're in a crisis. You dig? So I'm in heaven right now because I was forcing that conversation. You dig? No, but I was forcing that conversation back in November where there was no crisis. So people were talking about more important things, and I'm talking about vaccinations. You dig? So that people's like, come on, guys, yo, let's talk about other stuff. So now we are in this crisis. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm gonna beat this drum. You dig? I'm not letting this go. I'm in heaven right now. Now people are forced to deal with this information. So I'm in heaven right now. So I got the video. I'm gonna play a little bit of it. I'm gonna see what Professor Larry.
Man, it's been 3 years.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what Professor Larry's talking about. Share screen.
I know I've seen him before. I just don't know who that is. I can't put a face with the name.
He's got a couple of videos on Black News 102.
Yeah.
For a crime. So if you committed a crime, it is permissible for you to be enslaved. So with that being the case, they said, okay, we need to rebuild the economics of the South. How are we going to do so? They came up with the Black Codes. The Black Codes was correlated to the convict leasing laws. So the Black Codes basically made it illegal to be homeless and jobless. And since conflating,
that's called vagrancy. He's talking about the vagrancy laws.
King, I got you, God. The Black Codes made it illegal to be homeless and jobless. So if you're a slave, right, and you just escaped your plantation, that means that you have no money. And you don't want to go work for the same plantation owner that you just saw rape your mother or rape your sister or rape your father. So at the end of the day, I got you, King. I'll let you build for years, King. Now, please interrupt. When you ask, you could be told no. Please interrupt that. Because no, your facts are so totally wrong. You're not really your facts are so totally wrong. You're gonna confuse people. All right. So let me confuse people think that matter of fact, it's too much for me to go back and then pull it back. You know what? You're right. It's too much, right? Look, first of all, the 13th Amendment is 1865. The Emancipation Proclamation is 1863. The Emancipation Proclamation didn't free no damn slaves. The Emancipation Proclamation was a military strategic document that was to destabilize the South, right? The Emancipation Proclamation states that all...
Did you say to stabilize or destabilize?
Still...
Let me see.
Strategic document that was used to destabilize the South, right? Okay. The Emancipation Proclamation states that all slaves held in areas still in rebellion against the Union are hereby and forever free. The states in rebellion against the Union had their own president, their own Congress, and an army in the field. So Lincoln's order ain't had no effect, right? Now, what you had was you had black people escaping slavery and then fighting in the Union Army for their freedom. My brother, you understand? Let me contribute to that real quick, small piece. And this is why I say I recognize, and this is not to disrespect you, Elder, I just recognize the psyche that's taking place. When I was in the detention center, brothers used to build, hold on, kid. Brothers used to build a certain way. So, for instance, the brother's disagreeing with me, but he has nothing to disagree about. So I never said that. I never said. I got you. You're right. I never said that the Emancipation Proclamation wasn't strategic. All I said was that the South wasn't trying to confide in a reality that slaves or slavery was no longer legal. I simply, hold on, Ken. I omitted the fact that it was strategic, but I didn't say it wasn't. But the brother disagreed with me on something I didn't say because he can't seem to find one point where I'm correct. Look,
See, what I don't have time for is to hold a handkerchief to your eyes and wipe your nose, right? What you said was Emancipation Proclamation free slaves. Now, what I'm saying is that it ain't free no damn slaves. That 13th Amendment had to go to war. The Emancipation Proclamation was made in the middle of the war. It wasn't made before the war or after the war. In the middle of the war. The war began in 1861. 1860, they was rumbling around. The war began. 1863 comes the Emancipation Proclamation. 1865 comes the 13th Amendment. That's years. Now, what I need you to understand is that during this time, right? When I say the young man is conflating, this is a very intelligent young brother. But a lot of our people do this, and what it does is it creates misunderstandings. It doesn't create understanding or overstanding or understanding. It creates misunderstanding, because if you don't have your historical frame of reference chronologically correct, you are going to think things that are not true. For instance, right, in 1865, they tell you April 1865, the Civil War ended, right? We know that in 1866, 1867, 68, 69, there were still Confederate soldiers running around killing black people and white people in the South. You understand? They call them carpetbaggers and shit. They said they came to the South to profit off of their downfall. You understand? And they were killing these people. You look up, I posted a video on my Facebook page last night about this. You understand? What I'm saying is that when you understand the time reference, right? Then you see that you're dealing with black codes and Jim Crow. That's after Reconstruction. That's after 1877. Okay? What you had was a period when the radical Republicans, after 1867, the radical Republicans took over the Congress, right? They abolished the legislatures, right? And then they instituted, you have black politicians and shit. Black people, they created the Freeman's Borough and shit. You understand? All of this was from 1867 to 1877. When you had to compromise when they removed the federal troops from the South and let the Klan and shit run loose. That's when your black codes and your Jim Crow come in with all that new form of slavery shit. That's 1877, bro. So from 1865, 1866, you got still the Civil War going on, right? Then you had Freemansboro and you had blacks in power. They had land and shit. They gave some of those blacks the plantations that they were enslaved on. And then in 18...
Hey, Black Sheep. Hey, look how they dealing with him. This is why he probably left. Now, let me ask. Do you believe it was that serious, Melvin? Be honest.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the dude can't paraphrase. Like, does he got to tell every account perfectly? Like, he didn't have it mixed up.
But
I mean, I will say, I do think that was an important part to emphasize, what Larry emphasized, but like you said, it wasn't necessary to do it in that way. It could have been done in a more, calm way. Just all he had to do was say, well, let me add something to the point you're making, and then hand back the mic. Like, it wasn't anything to be like debating over. I don't think he was trying to intentionally mislead anybody. I think he just, didn't take the time to make that point.
Yeah, I don't even know where young Marcus was going. Like maybe that didn't really, that point wasn't, those detailed facts wasn't that important to his point. He was stopped immediately and, we don't even know where he was going.
77, they took all that shit back.
I will say, if he brings up the Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves, I think it's important to put context around that, because Black people are under the impression that they just did it out of the kindness of their heart. And that's just simply not the case. So I understand why he felt like it was important to kind of, okay, let's frame this in a proper way and add the real context behind it, because he did mention it. So I think it was, necessary to kind of dispel the misconceptions about how that happened or how that came to be, if you're going to bring it up.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
I agree.
let's talk about the 101 crack ratio, crack cocaine ratio, right? So, a gram of crack was equivalent to 100 grams of cocaine, and they had, I think it was the mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years, something I'm aware of. Now, Obama adjusted that during his office. He adjusted that to 18-1. So as a result, people with their large crack sentences, they it was reduced. And some was free for time served. They reduced it from 1 gram to I think it was 18-1. So put like this: if it only took 5 grams of crack, or let's say 50 grams of crack, to serve a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years, well, because of the adjustment, it took, let's say, 200 grams of crack. So because of that, they looked at the weight of crack that certain individuals was charged with, and they realized that this person should never probably been locked up according to the new adjustment. So they let him go. Some people had time served, so stuff like that. Now, I'm making this point. When they came home, they don't give a damn who had a kind heart. They just cared that they was able to come home early. You dig? So the slaves that were free, I don't think that they cared about who had a kind heart or who didn't. They just happy that they are being freed. Now, looking back,
It was actually a Black person that gave them the idea for the Emancipation Proclamation to use enslaved Africans to help fight the war. But I understand what you're saying, but I would look at that as more so as not necessarily who wrote it, but the underlying principle is why. So I'm getting out early, or my sentence is converted, but what's the why? So let's say someone, like you said, is serving time. Regardless as to whether or not they know who signed it, what they will know is that this new thing has come into effect, regardless as to who did it. And they're going to understand the why behind it, especially considering the fact that if I have an opportunity to get out, I want to know by what means, or I may be putting my lawyer up on game. Hey, you need to try to get me out of here because according to this thing that was signed, I'm hearing that it counts as this. So like a criminal, most criminals know some degree of the law. So when they find out about some shit like that, they may not know who signed it into action, but I bet you they're going to understand how that affects them in their situation and how they're going to be able to use it to their advantage, which goes back to the kind of like the strategy part of it. They don't necessarily need to know that Abraham Lincoln signed the proclamation, but what they do understand is what he allows them to do. And they weren't technically like free. You know, it wasn't like oh you're free, go do what you want. It was under the condition that they fought in the war. But go ahead.
So my brother, you know I love you, right? I love you. Give me a hug, Elder. I love you, man.
oh, that's over.
These are facts. These are just facts.
Wait, is Brother Larry sitting down or is he standing up? I can't.
He's standing up.
The midget.
You wrong for that.
Nah, I can't tell because his body is big, but he looks so tiny.
I could tell he was standing up. He moving around.
Right.
You have to understand the
I really can't tell.
It's like, look,
Damn.
what they do to us. Look, let me show you something. Look, what they do to us with the music, right? Look at our people, right? Look at our people and look at our struggle and look at our music. During the 60s, our people were doing what? Marching all over this place, right? Fighting, getting beat with clubs, having dogs sick on them, and what were the music saying to them?
Question.
People get ready.
Quick question. Does he normally talk like that? Is he normally that like worked up all the time whenever he has discussions?
Larry? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to skip and let young Malcolm get the
You
microphone
understand?
back.
That's a fact. I agree with you. The indoctrination has been set up as to further perpetuate the colonization that has taken place. So if I can colonize the musician before he gets the chance to release his music, then his music by default is going to be full of ignorance. So, like I said, they won't teach us to be the business owners. They'll teach us to be the consumers, so that when things take place, they can control the social convention. I got you, King. They can control the social conventions that take place within the facility. So, for instance, America is a corporation. America has certain convictions. America wants to integrate homosexuality into its society. So with that being the case, America makes it legal for homosexuals to get married. So now, if white people have companies that have convictions that are similar to that of the greater American society, they can open a corporation, have an artist come in there and represent American convictions, such as Young Thug. This is an artist that you may not know of. This man on his album cover had a dress and called it Jeffrey. Now, his corporation was in alignment with the convictions of America to further perpetuate the ideal of homosexuality. So, because they're the business owners, because they were taught to be the business owners, they were able to control the social conventions that take place and filter the kind of artists they'll let through. So with that being the case, they decided to say, okay, we're only going to let a certain kind of artist in. They're not of our race, so they're not misrepresenting our race. So if they're black, they can speak of all kinds of ignorance, of all kinds of things that falsely represent their race. But at the end of the day, not everything in there is false or misreality. This is very real. Some of us have to learn to be humble and content with our realities. And some of us have greater ambitions than others. Now, I wouldn't suggest that people become content with standards of living that aren't the standard in general. So for instance, if everyone is living in a house, you don't go live in a cave. I don't suggest that standard of living. I don't suggest that you be homeless. But at the end of the day, your quality of life is very much so a mentality. So for instance, with as many projects as black people have, right? We still manage every year to produce enough money to run a government. So with that being the case, we say we're broke, but at the end of the day, on an individual basis, we may not have as much economic power as these Caucasians do because they don't spend as much as we do. But at the end of the day, we can organize and build institutions that are just as powerful as their institutions. But the issue is we don't have some means to unify. So for instance, slavery divorced us from our culture. So with that being the case, you might have one black that's a Buddhist, you might have another black that's a Christian, you might have another black that's Nation of Islam, that's a Hebrew Israelite. So what ends up happening is they all become divided and they can't recognize each other as brethren unless oppression comes about. So for instance, when we see a black man get shot on the street and we say, yo, why didn't the Hebrews over there and the Nation of Islam over here and the brothers over there come and protest and the Moors come and protest? Why didn't they do that? Because at the end of the day, slavery has divided us. It has made us separated from each other. So when we identify our brother, we don't identify him as relating to us. We say, oh, he's a Catholic. I'm a Muslim. I go to the mosque. He goes to church. So therefore, when his son dies, I shouldn't go embrace his son unless his son dies by way of a white police officer. Slavery has indoctrinated us and colonized us to such an extent that we don't feel that we should unify unless the cause is unification over our color. So I feel that we as a people should come up with a means, a common philosophy that works for all of us. These white people, when they come and colonize you, they understand, listen, you could be Russian, you could be this, you could be that. At the end of the day, we all white. So when it comes down to it, when it's time to get busy, we have a common philosophy and we need to make sure that white people prosper and black people suffer. That's how they get down.
It's a good thing for the young brother to come out and be an example in the community so that other young brothers can come by and see.
That's what my brother is, Ken.
Can see that not everything is a basketball game or a ball game. You understand? Sometimes you got to look at the mind games that's being played, right? In order to understand the tricks that's being played that creates the perception that we somehow can't do things that we seem to do every day. You understand? Now, if you listen to individuals like Donald Trump, we could be shot just standing here. You understand? It's not safe to stand here in this community because all kind of shit going on, right? So the propaganda that's permeated in this society creates images in the minds of our children that are reinforced in some of our adults, right? And it plays out in this marketplace because the bottom line is the marketplace, right? That's the battlefield, okay? Everything that's done to us, somebody's profiting from it. Where you live, where you shop, the regulations, the police conduct is part of a market scheme, right? And because we have sectarianism in our community, like y'all noted, Hebrews and Muslims and Christians, right? Everybody has a sectarian take on their position and stake in the market, rather than seeing a community.
All right, hold on. I'm going to just play Marcus' part. You guys, you see where it is. It's Black News 102. Brother Larry takes on young Marcus. If you want to hear the whole discussion, this is about young Marcus. So I want to just do young Marcus.
All right, go ahead. He's a youth. So let's bring it to the youth first.
Yeah. So again, the psychology, my sister, that us brethren suffer from is the byproduct of 400 years of oppression. So I know we heard this a million times, but at the end of the day, we are a people who've been colonized for 400 years. This is 400 years of trauma, back to back. I saw my mother get raped. My daughter was born, and after she was born, she saw death all her life. Then she had a child who bear witness to death all his life. He prays to a God whom is white. He goes to funerals where people wear black and then goes to weddings where people wear white. In his mind, on a subconscious level, he's being indoctrinated to think that white is superior. So we've went through a torture, a coercion for 400 years plus. Now, where oppression really starts to exist is at the poverty level. You don't really hear about rich blacks getting shot, do you? You hear about poor blacks getting shot. Where oppression really exists is at the poverty level. They make sure that they don't teach you anything about finances because that's where oppression exists on the harshest level. So if you are impoverished, if you are poor, we can make sure that a lot of people don't own property. Where do the schools get their funding from? Property taxes. So if a lot of people don't own property, then schools are going to lack funding. And if schools lack funding, then black kids are going to have a education that isn't on par with the education of the white kids. So we make sure they're not entrepreneurs so that they can't own property, so that property taxes can't be allocated to the schools, so that at the end of the day, when they receive an education, it isn't on par with the white individual. Now, there's a direct correlation to your education and your capacity for crime. If you are an uneducated individual, you are more inclined to commit crimes. At the end of the day, we've been put through an education system that is poor, so thus it increases our chance for crimes. And poverty has produced social habits that haven't allowed us to thrive. So for instance, in poverty, right? Brothers may eat foods that aren't healthy. Brothers may sit there and spend a bunch of money due to their insecurity to look nicer than others. So brothers may sit there and say, you know what, I'm gonna complain. I used to live in the projects. So at the end of the day, I would walk in my staircase, I would see shit. I would walk in my elevator, I would see piss. On the subconscious level, people internalize those realities. People begin to conclude that maybe I am worth what I'm bearing witness to. And then if you believe in the concept of God, it plays even greater tricks on your mind. Like, why is it that when God made me, he decided to put me in the projects with piss in my elevator and shit in my staircases? So in order to regain the value that they feel like they lost, they'll go and buy the Gucci belt. They'll go and buy the Louis Vuitton. They'll go and buy the Nike so that they can reestablish the confidence that they lost. And so, again, there's a deviation from the education system that increases our desire
to commit crime, or not necessarily increases our desire to commit crime, but increases our chances of committing crime. It increases our chances of finding unorthodox means to establish wealth. So with that being said, if we just deviated from the education system and now we're insecure, we want to live finer than how we were brought up. At the end of the day, we're going to do things to acquire that standard of living. That may be selling drugs, that may be owning the strip, that may be having people respect me by way of fearing me, and that's going to produce conflict. So
about. This was already planned.
I got you, King. So now I got you. I'm done after this.
So Saru Osiris said since Trump been in office that the job blacks firing from jobs has been at an all-time low, and Chicago crime's been at an all-time low. So we gotta look at the good and bad.
Long story short, these kids are being brought about in an education system that educates them poorly. When they're educated poorly, it increases their chances to commit crimes, and it increases their chances to find unorthodox means to establish their wealth. Now, when people don't go through the education system, if you're not doing things our way in America, then you won't find a job in our society. So if you don't go through the education system, if you don't become colonized, then you can't get a job in corporate America. They make sure that you can't do that so you can find unorthodox means to establish your wealth. You'll go try to sell drugs, try to find some means that isn't the convention to establish your wealth, and you'll end up competing with your other brothers and sisters. Now, taking into account the other circumstances and facts surrounding our situation, where we don't identify with each other as brothers and sisters, where we all are sectarians, or we all feel that we're this and we're that, we're more inclined to be divided and separated from each other. But that's my bill. Peace to you, sister.
Okay, so I'm hearing that the dude was being mentored by certain individuals in the community that we don't really know at all. Like I think they appeared on Satnet's TV like maybe twice, and now the young dude is getting a lot of shine, and he's around other individuals. The other individuals are getting the credit for the young man, you dig, and not the person who originally introduced him. Because again, the guy who originally introduced him was not really a known figure like that in the so-called community. So, but he started hanging around known people in the community, and the known people in the community were getting the credit for young Marcus. So the original guy was like, all right, I'm not being mentioned. I'm being looked over. So I don't want you around him anymore. Something like that is what I'm getting. So what anybody want to, before I give it back to young Marcus, anybody want to build? Now again, like this is not go. This is a short live stream, so I'm gonna be done at like maybe 6:50. So we got 13 minutes. I'm back live at 8 o'clock. We're gonna do the post debate thoughts, and how we do open topic. But for right now, does anybody have anything to say on the panel? You want to add in anything?
Not at the moment.
No, I'm just enjoying a little bit.
In lieu, now I'm saying on the platform, how can you say the dude is known? I ain't even know his name, but I know young Marcus' name. You dig? So, and look, and people don't even know young Marcus. And young Marcus definitely has had more exposure than his mentor. So you can't say his mentor is known and we don't even know who the hell he is. And like I know how he looked because I was a huge supporter of Sanet for a long, long time. So I've seen him before, but we don't really know the dude like we know Brother Larry. I'm saying like that, dude. I'm saying like he's not known like Brother Larry, Roy Bay, and Sankofa, people like that.
Both, two things I gotta say, right? In psychology, if something is a commodity, you'll appreciate it less. So for instance, time, it's so consistent and it has such presence that we don't even recognize how much time we waste. If we're among black people, if black people are a commodity, we'll appreciate black lives a little less. I know that sounds like a little strange, but I'm being honest. So for instance, if you go to another country, right? Or if you're in a room full of white people and you see a brother, you feel good. You're like, oh shit, I got one. I see one. Yeah, I'm not alone. I'm at home. So with that being the case, when you live in an environment full of your people, not that you don't appreciate your people, but you'll think of him like any other person because every other person is black. So with that being the case, you'll have less value for his life. Now, if you both wearing the same, if you both wearing the
This guy right here. This guy right here, man, he's funny.
different country where everyone didn't look like you, and you two were the only one that had something in common, being the
You talking
color.
about Larry?
You would
Yeah, he's shaking his head no. It looks like he's just finding something to disagree with, because like some people, when you seen when I aired out when I re-aired the brother, what's his name? That was Shaka wanted to debate the scholar. When I was playing him, you see King Simon, like he wanted the microphone much more, but it wasn't even about King Simon. It was about old boy. But like we have a problem just sitting back listening, and maybe not saying one word, right? Maybe you got to just fall back this one, and let young dude go in, and you just supporting him. Like we always got to have the microphone in our hand, and the camera in our face, and that's what it appears that Brother Larry is doing right now.
Appreciate his life more because you understand intuitively that this is the only person I can identify with. So in the black community, since black is such a commodity, we start to appreciate black less, whether we realize it or not, because every individual that we deal with is black. He's black just like anybody else. But once we step outside of our media reality, outside of our media confines, and we start bearing witness to realities with diversities of people, and then we finally run into someone that looks like us, we'll appreciate them 10 times more. Another thing is,
I have to emphatically tell you that
hold on, King, hold on. Don't try to snatch the mic. I got you. Just give me.
I have to emphatically tell you, right, that to think that because you're surrounded by black people, that for that reason, black doesn't mean something to you, right? What you're doing is you're missing about 250 years of intense psychological traumatic programming that made you not want to help him when he was getting his ass whipped.
Miss.
That's not reality, sister.
Miss.
Reality, sister. Reality, sister.
King.
We are so racially polarized in this society.
Nah, he didn't force his goddamn way on the camera. God damn.
Miss, the root of what I'm trying to say is, during the civil rights movement, right? You want to know why we had more respect for black life?
Right, she want to know about solutions right now. Not that damn history talk. What's up right now?
What can you do now?
What?
Truthfully analyze.
So, brother Larry, give a present day solution. He's good at correcting on history. How about the solution? Now, she asked for a solution. Now, let's see how gung-ho Brother Larry is to offer that solution.
Truthfully analyze yourself.
Hold on. Back up. My elder.
And we can see why
Let me say something. I'm not just talking. You come up where I live at, and you ask about me, them kids will tell you where I helped them come from, because I showed them love, and they were in bad things too. When you give that love, so I'm just,
So what can we do right
that's
now?
what I just know what I do.
Yeah.
Every day I know what I do. I hug them and I kiss them every day.
So
I show them that
You won't do that now.
I feel.
How did the African man,
Hold up, say it again. Go ahead.
how did the African man let a vagabond low life you to be nothing? In other words, he's not white, he's a vagabond.
Oh, damn.
He said, how
Yes,
did
sir.
you allow the vagabond to make you nothing?
Make you nothing and make you think that you're black. You're not black. That shirt you got on,
Uh-oh.
you're African. You're African.
No, listen to this.
Now, look, he ain't going to address the solution the sisters are asking for. He's going to go to the history part. And you dig? Let me see. I guess we let him play out.
There is
So I got about 7 minutes and Weezy out of here.
no country on the continent of Africa, right? You drop something. There's no country on the continent of Africa, right? Or matter of fact, there's only 2 countries on the continent of Africa with the name Africa in their names, right? That's the Central African Republic and South Africa, right? Now, wait a minute now. In the last 40, 50 years, You had 30, 45 countries gain independence. They didn't put Africa in their names, right? In 202 BC, there was a Roman province called Africa. There was a town called Zama. That's where Hannibal lost at. The Roman Senate surnamed the general who defeated Hannibal.
Hey, Melvin, do you think the audience was caring about that information right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Africanus for having defeated Hannibal in the province of Africa, right? When European explorers, Prince Henry the Navigator and Portuguese, when they started to navigate and sail around Africa, right? That's when they started to put that on maps, right? Because people call something a name, that doesn't make the people on the land that they're calling the name what they're calling the name.
That makes sense.
Hold it.
That makes sense.
Let me say this to you. You had a liar that was on the boat one time. The liar had a bunch of people on the boat, and they
Do the same thing. Don't say that, man. Don't say that. Hold on, let him tell you.
Listen,
cases, really.
listen.
He pulled up on him.
Hold us. Let me do this. He put Corpus Mountains. I did not say Corpus Mountains.
Honestly, I feel like in regards to what you were saying and what you were saying.
That's what I said. Cappadocia. What do you see? What do you see?
A bunch of sand and like rocks.
No,
and
you don't
people.
see sand and rocks. You see caves. You see caves. Those are caves.
Oh yeah, they definitely are. My bad, Elder. They
Caves.
a little different.
Cave Hotel, Cappadocia. Cave Hotel.
Word.
They live in caves right now today.
That's
Right now today.
It's a fact.
about the cracker.
Oh yeah.
The cracker learned
My man wanna see.
Cracker learned one thing
No
when he was in
problem.
the cave. To learn to cover his ass when he come out the cave to try to beat somebody.
I'ma come clean, like all of y'all, both of y'all. Come on, man. You know you got him already.
It ain't about getting them. It's not about getting them. Right? Look, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. You know, sometimes we conflate history, right? We take things that happen at one part of history and things that happen in another part of history, and because we talking about history, we kind of pull them all together, right? So you'll get my brothers in the 5% Nation. They'll tell you about General Monk chasing people across the hot Arabian desert back to the caves of Europe, right? That would be Cappadocia, right? They also talk about Turkey and they also talk about Turkey and the Fez, right? And Turkey and the Fez, right? Turkey is Cappadocia. You understand? So,
Put the tape on your mouth and let the man.
Monk, take your ass somewhere, Monk.
You can't. You let the man take you down the block.
Monk,
Because
Monk,
you know why you
Monk, No, we don't want that too loud. We don't want Monk too loud. Right? Monk is crazy as batshit.
I prove what I say.
Monk, I'm not arguing with you, Monk. You right. You correct.
I'm telling you.
You correct, Sarnetta.
So there you go. That was a little bit of young Marcus. Sarnetta went live, so a lot of people checking out. So Sarnetta, you know, he went live. He got, let me see what the title is.
Oh, you did go live?
Yeah, it's called
Man, I'm probably not gonna check that out.
Dr. Let me see.
Probably some more 5G stuff.
Oh, you got Curtis Cross. Oh, damn.
We can't hear you.
So it says, so if Curtis Cross on there, that means he got some crazy people on it. So it's called The Situation We Are in a Threat. Yeah, so the dude Curtis Cross, who's he? He's showing his book. I got his book, by the way.
first edition came out, and
Like, he referenced like legit pseudos in his book. I'm gonna show, and he keep mentioning his book. He referenced legit pseudos. Like I googled them, looked them up. I'm like, damn. So you ain't gonna reference anybody credible in here? And my man referenced Robert Kennedy Jr. Like, bro, stop it. Like pretty much he's referencing everybody in that small anti-vax community. Like that's what his book is about. I got his book over here. It's so stupid that like maybe one day I go into the book and decode it and embarrass it. But the dude is really too extreme. So with that being said, I got to send the emails out, start my class. I pushed it back, by the way. The class was 6:30, so I pushed it back to 7. A lot of them wasn't really too happy with that. But okay, so we're gonna go back on. We ain't gonna do no post debate on his post discussion on Curtis Cause. But we
Nah.
post discussion on. I'll probably play like a little bit of maybe an hour of Sarnetta, Polite, and Jabari. Then we're gonna recap.
Have you watched it yet?
No. So the first thing I did this morning was watch, chemical biology, right? I watched, and then I immediately went to, I did like a little video on that inspired me to do my little basic elementary presentation on what an element is, what a chemical element is. So I did that. It's a lot out of my time, kind of get my stuff together. Then after that, I listened to my Phil Murphy, the New Jersey governor. Then after that, I went back to the video of chemical
biology. Did you finish it?
Nah, because I can't even stay on it. I've been back and forth. So look, I'm going to show you this.
How far did you get?
I'm going to show you. So if you look right here, is this it?
You go with all the tabs again.
This is it right here. So I'm at 32 minutes.
Oh man, you just get in the middle of it. Okay.
Yeah, well, I had to watch my governor. My governor told me what I got to do. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna be very up to date on New Jersey. What we're doing.
Yeah, I was subscribed to. I know you're not trying to promote them, but I was subscribed to them just because they have other topics that they put in. So definitely subscribe to them. I did send you the link to all of their courses, but it makes it easier with the link to just look at what you want to study and just pick and choose. But they put it all on YouTube.
Yeah, so even this for here, when he explained what chemical biology even is, so with that knowledge alone, like Polite wouldn't have been able to pull that old hemoglobin and electrons. Nah, you can't do that in this right here.
Right. You should. I can't wait till you get to the part where he talks about DNA and RNA. That's a really good part.
Yeah, so don't worry. Like this is what I love to do. So I'm going to get through this and every last one of them. Don't worry, I'm gonna get through this. All right.
All right. I'm gonna catch y'all a little later.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll be back at 8 o'clock, 8:10. So let me send his emails out. Appreciate everybody who pulled up. Weezy out of here. Support Sarnetta if you can. We are out. Peace.